we were talking, oh yes, so I think that that on this crazy life journey of ours, and not just ours but as in general of humanities, that if we decide to leave the valley, because we've maybe suffered some difficulties, but if we decide to leave the valley and take the path less trodden and we go up to the mountains, we'll see, just like a normal mountain climbers would see, you know, little like trails that have already been made with maybe some of those strings, which we did come across some of those strings,
or brand new trails,
and ways to go up the mountain. And that's so lovely, is that we obviously hope that we can be like that for any, you know, somebody who's all new to all this,
putting little signposts and
just to help.
This is what we tried, and
little rope bridges,
going up this way is a little bit easier than going this way, and especially if you don't want to go the normal
so you can get
route
there quicker, basically.
So all these tricks
of the trade,
are just little, I don't know, soul hacks.
Do you know, lots of people don't like the word hack. They're like, where did tips go?
Tips? Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's really odd, the demographics now. It's really interesting how I feel like, you know, when we're all young, it's like, it's maybe not a very good analogy, but what's the word? Oh God, I'm a terrible analogy. I can't even remember what I'm talking about. But that's why we're doing it live, guys. You can see the warts and all. It's literally on the tip of my tongue. I'm not going to have to ask you for it. The world when it was all connected.
Oh, Pangea.
Pangea, thank you. It's kind of like Pangea, and then as we all grow older, we kind of separate off, and like, you know, now people in their teens are really different to people in their 20s, who are really different to people in their 30s, who are really different to people in their 40s, and then people in their 50s and 60s. But with the technology right now moving at such crazy speed, like, I think the connection, maybe 50 years ago, I think they were more, everybody was a little bit more similar, don't you think?
Yeah, maybe.
The generational gap was less,
a little less, maybe.
Severe.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. There's absolutely no.
Where are we going with that?
I'm going nowhere. Nowhere at all. Just going for a little wander. Walked around, saw it, and then decided to come right back. Anyway, I am bored. Are you bored? Do you suffer from boredom? If you do,
or you know people that suffer from boredom, pass it along,
send
and
them
we
this
can
video.
get rid of the ads. Yeah. So if you want to build up your immunity to fear, or strengthen your faith muscles.
Oh yes.
It's not actually possible without challenges that invite you to fear. So you kind of avoiding fear doesn't really work.
Well, it works in the sense that you avoid fear, then you're not going to feel as much fear, but then eventually you're going to have to.
But by the very act, you have fear of fear.
Well, of course,
so you're engaging in fear.
That's
so
the biggest fear.
You don't actually escape fear that way.
Our friend yesterday literally said that sentence.
Yeah, in Italian.
She said,
"O paura di paura."
She said, "I'm so scared of fear." It was so funny. It was just so funny.
Yeah.
She's scared of everything, but yet she's like totally
bubbly
and
super
brave, and in the sense of just jumping into kind of social situations where other people wouldn't be. And she's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All of her Achilles heels.
Yes. But one thing I wanted to say before, I want to say about the boredom thing.
Yes.
That mini holiday.
Go on.
Minication.
Micro
holiday, that's it.
Yeah.
So one thing I just wanted to say to guys who feel that you're bored when you're like standing in queue.
Or in traffic.
Or
waiting in line to pay for groceries, or your morning coffee, or
just waiting
any
for
situation where waiting for someone to finish, or waiting for me to finish the sentence. It's go on, you take this one.
No, go on, I've talked too much, I think.
No, I don't think so. Any situation where you feel that something else should be happening other than what's happening, or you feel that I would like to be somewhere else other than where I am right now. I mean, you could extend that to I want to be something else more than what I am now, but let's come back to...
That's to be you're doing nothing. Like,
yeah.
Like there's nothing on your plate.
There's nothing on your plate.
You're literally waiting.
So I don't know, we came up with this term which is called like basically having a micro holiday. So you're on nobody else's time. You're not on your children's time. You're not on your parents' time. You're not on your boss's time. You're not on your friend's time. You've no obligations. You've been given a life lull.
Yes.
There's a lull in life, and if you embrace it, again, like embracing the energy of boredom, it's the same thing, because boredom is what's kind of firing you up at that point. Then
you have a break.
You get a break. You get a
no
real
one
break.
wants anything from you. You literally are free.
You're off the hook.
And instead of us going like in the middle of the bank, wouldn't it be nice to see people in the line going just dancing, man, even though there's no music, just dancing to the crappy music that they have in the bank, or just instead of being on their phones, just taking a deep sigh, daydreaming, taking a deep sigh, of course, just
taking your pulse in the moment and going, how do I feel right now?
Staring into space, dreaming, smiling. Wouldn't that be nice to see people in queues just smiling for no reason, and without everyone like thinking they must be on drugs or something? That would
yeah.
I want what she's having.
Yeah. Just applying a little bit of know-how to boredom, which just doesn't actually exist if you let it pass.
Do you remember somebody asked me that once?
Oh yeah, I think it was. Oh yeah, that's right.
I've never personally done any white stuff that people decide to. I've never done it, so I don't understand the appeal to sniff up their noses. But I was like really, like some guy was like really battering me one night, and he really thought that he was like, well, it's impossible. You just can't be in such good form. And I was like, no, really, I'm just like, it's a good vibe. It's a good night. And he was just like, no. And he was like, for God's sake, can't you just share? And I'm like, dude, I don't have any. Like, I never have had it. Yeah, right. And it was really an odd conversation that someone doesn't believe you. Like, that's really interesting.
If you do get a chance to take your pulse, sometimes you'll find there's a background tension, and you're kind of like, why am I tense now?
Yeah.
What am I actually tense about? Like nothing. Like it's not like something is happening immediately physically in front of you. So you must be thinking, so what thought am I having then that's causing this? Or what emotions am I feeling that's firing this? And sometimes it's kind of like, there's nothing bad happening right now, and just let it go, and just sigh, and just take that micro holiday. It's an opportunity, because you might be like, oh, I want to be more efficient, and because you're on a roll already, and that's very addictive because of the hormones that are produced in the situation, the fight or flight hormones and so on. You want to get things done and blah, 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 so you can get on to the next thing. But as we said before, you only become more efficient at moving on at rushing.
Yeah.
And
get to be right, good old Russia.
Yeah. And you're always living in the future, because your pet mind has run ahead of you. So
I love that, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you just come up with that spontaneous. I love that. Like literally, I imagine a brain on a leash. Yeah. It's so funny. Like literally,
little legs. Or not? Just bouncing.
Well, now I've got little legs, so little kind of pink, short, little stubby, little pink, short legs that are kind of bent.
Like that guy from the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, I forgot his name. What was his name? Was it Brain? It wasn't Brain. It wouldn't be that easy. In the comments, guys.
Yeah, what was that?
It was
the baddie that moved that avatar mechanical thing. Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Like Inside Out, my memory has been sucked. They're like, we had that in there for decades. She just didn't use it.
She doesn't need that stuff.
And now it's like.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting yet again.
I don't remember.
Are you getting cold?
No, maybe a tiny bit, but not really. Okay. For now.
For now.
Did they even bring a coat?
I'm going to put this on.
Okay. I suppose maybe I should put it on in preparation. And this is probably a lull where we'll snip to cut the session into sections.
Yes.
So I'm going to grab my cardigan.
Here.
Where is it?
It's just there.
Oh, it's there. Thank you. I don't need to grab my cardigan because it's behind me.
Your new cardigan. Well, new second hand, but still new.
Vintage.
Vintage. And this as well. Oh. Coordinated. Well, maybe not quite, but attempting.
Just off you go.
So
You talk, and otherwise people are just watching me put a cardigan on.
everyone's like, so you basically just watch them like get dressed. They just put like layers on.
Yeah.
German Francesca channel is a bit boring. We're watching
Boring.
Oh. Well, it would be to people that, well, unless
No, but I'm saying
unless
there you go. There's one of your micro holidays right there.
Oh, they can have one. They can have a micro holiday.
Have a micro holiday on us.
Unless there's some ladies out there going, yeah, you put that cardigan on, Jack. You put that cardigan.
Jessica, really no.
Little old man's cardigan.
Little old man's cardigan.
It's a bit tight. We didn't try it on, did we? We just kind of grabbed it. Doesn't matter.
That's fine.
Is it all right?
Yeah. Little logo, so cute.
Oh, it's really sweet.
Okay, so
So we've done I'm bored.
Yes.
We've told people what they can possibly do is do the old introspection, self-reflection. Maybe a little closer if you want.
Okay.
Body heat. Yeah, you guys don't need to be bored. There's no need to be bored. It's like a mini holiday. No one wants anything from you. So we can just enjoy ourselves in those moments and just see what happens. Maybe you'll be doing it in the queue and somebody else will go, are you having a micro holiday too? And you can go, I so am. Let's micro holiday together, you know?
Yeah.
And then just start talking. That doesn't happen too much either these days. You don't just start talking.
They're almost like it has to be a formal introduction, doesn't it? Or else it's weird to talk to a stranger.
When I was younger,
When did
that was how you managed to speak to people. Like, if you didn't speak to strangers, then you didn't get to know anyone. Whereas now it's like, people kind of just straight away, what's the fear thing? People straight away go, what do you want?
What do you want from me?
What's the motive of this interaction? They don't buy that it's in of itself, like just the interaction.
Yeah.
Like that's the motivation to just
It might be that you're just, you look like an interesting person and that person actually wants to just...
But then you've got the annoying thing that then they think that you want to, you know, because we live in such a base-driven society that then it's like, well, you can't just say those words. Well, I think you're kind of a cool-looking person or a cool, interesting person. Then they think, you want to get me, you know, you want to take my cardigan off. That's what it is. I can see it in your eyes. Unzipping that cardigan. So why is that as well? Like, why can't we... That's kind of annoying that animalistic nature, which is of course has to be there and it is phenomenal when it's done right, obviously it's fantastic, but why does it have to be always in the forefront of people's minds? Is it because we're so deadened inside and hidden in our shells that only these ginormous survival instincts of reproduction and of actual self-preservation can make us feel something because we're so hidden behind so many layers of protection?
A sensation is equated with aliveness in some people's minds.
Well, yeah, maybe that's it. It's just that people are just so like, that they just like any kind of bit of a zing. Oh, gee, I felt that. Bit of a cattle prod. You know, it's like, guys, that should be actually not very, you know, there's time and place. Anyway, I feel I'm just wandering around aimlessly. Like one of those goldfish just going round and round. Am I saying the same things? I don't know.
Do you want to read a Guy Finley?
All right, from cattle prod to some nice
Shower for the soul.
shower for the soul. Hold on.
This is
All
a
right.
nice one.
Good old Fins. He'll see us through, he will. He'll see us through. This one?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, so going on our topic of faith versus fear, who'll win? Oh, actually, one thing I did want to say about that, which I thought of the other night, is that if we're doing this kind of faith versus fear, like we're really black and whitening it, like we're really seeing it in such contrasting to it is faith or it is fear. You can't do this shades in the middle. Then a really cool way to see it, because I know that's really hard for some people, but it's a really cool way to see it is to go, okay, what if there were two on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, who would you follow? Would you follow like the personification of faith, or would you follow the personification of like fear? Like,
good question.
Who would you want to follow?
To.
Yeah, who would you want to follow? And then you have to think, okay, well, use your imagination. in a nice way, in a constructive way, and go, well, what kind of people would faith and fear be?
Yeah.
If this was actually their name and their whole being, and they were completely that, what would fear be like? You know, what would, I'm going to say his, I don't want to be kind of sexist here, I'm going to say his, and I'm going to say Faith for her, just because Faith is a girl's name.
Okay.
And
fair enough.
just to kind of have them different. But I'm not saying that the girls are nicer than boys, right? I'm generalising. I'm not even generalising, I'm just saying it.
Okay.
Just in case everyone's like, Francesca's a real...
Don't even go there.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know what word it would be. Anyway, but say, you know, fear is this guy and he's just like scared of everything, and I've got in my head, because it just was in my head inside out, the anxious guy, I think he was blue. Was he blue?
Yeah,
the little kind of freaked out guy. Was he blue or green? No, I think he was blue. And he was like all scared.
Can't remember.
Like somebody like that who's just fear and always like posting really negative stuff. And
that was sadness, I think. With the glasses. And then the man was kind of like blue, but it was blue, yeah. I
think he was blue as well, maybe. Was sadness more purple? Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Write in the comments, guys. Prove us right or wrong. Posting bad negative energy stuff, you know, like you were talking the other day about how it's important to be of course informed, especially if there's some nefarious stuff going on the planet that many people aren't aware about. Then you want to wake up some of the flock to the roaming wolves in the sheep's clothing, even, which is more frightening. And let them know, of course, Jesus, I'm not saying that's not a good thing to do. That is actually a very conscientious and just being a good member of society, in my opinion, to be calling the alarm, sounding the alarm, being the canary in the caves.
Don't ring it constantly.
But don't ring it constantly. It's like we all, you know, those who know, like we all know the stench. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So anyway, this guy, he's posting all this negative energy stuff, and then you've got Faith, who's just really just full of love and good vibes and good energy and confidence, but not like cocky, like, you know, just real confidence, not fake confidence, and just wanting to spread love and spread light, and has some really interesting motivational, inspirational quotes, and maybe she does a few doodles, and she's talking about random ideas that come into her head, and maybe some funny imagination stuff or whatever, and telling you, you know, to have faith. Like, who would you follow? Like, Jesus, like, it's so... When you kind of break things down in that way, then you can like, oh, I wouldn't friggin' have, or on your shoulders, if you had that little miniature faith and that little miniature fear, like who would you be tilting your ear to more? Like I'd be like, oh my goodness, you know, you'd be like, sorry, your fear.
Yeah.
You'd be
who seems more relaxed?
You'd be like, oh Faith, tell me, Faith, you're actually giving me energy. Whereas fear, you're taking my chi, you're stealing my energy, you're sucking it like a parasite away from me. So it's like a positive charge and negative charge.
Yeah, after each interaction, are you up or down? Are you more relaxed or more tense? Yeah.
So then you can even look at some of your friends or family and go, are they more in the fear camp or the faith camp? You know, what's the story with them? And then you can kind of maybe just talk to them about how they're feeling, or post them this video link. We'll freeze it there. Anyway, that was just
that's good. Yeah,
something I wanted to say. Ambition expression. Okay, so do you want to read it? Because I read the last one.
No, I like you. See, it's nice. You've got a really nice broadcasting voice.
I mean, you have a gorgeous voice. My voice is kind of quieter than yours. Go on, we'll do every other.
Okay, alright. Okay, so.
You've got the Paddy accent that everyone goes, oh my god, you're so friggin' cute. Oh my god.
That's the first one. Okay. Real faith and true freedom go hand in hand, because no one is free who lives with fear, and fear cannot live in the one who has faith. That's kind of it in a nutshell, really.
brilliant. It's brilliant. Yeah. You cannot be free if you're living with fear. Yeah, who would you prefer as a house guest? Or a roommate?
Yeah, it's
Can I have some more tea?
Sure.
Can I have some more tea, Governor?